What yet, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lycos, and this is my new player guide for Starfield. In this guide, I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks, give you some suggestions for missions that have some amazing rewards, and then I'm going to touch on starship customization and base building. First of all, let's talk about a few basic tips and tricks that should help you out through your playthrough. Number one, don't be picking up everything that you see. This is not Fallout. You're not going to be scrapping a bunch of junk. If you see a bunch of plates and cups, don't go picking them up. They're not worth your time. You really want to watch your inventory management, especially early on in the game. So I'd stick to mostly picking up useful gear, good weapons, good armor. I wouldn't pick up too many pieces of armor because they're pretty heavy. Just good armor that you think you're going to use. Now you can pick up lots of weapons because I do find that the weapons don't weigh too much and they're worth quite a bit of money. Other than that, if the item says that it's a crafting item, you can grab that as well. Now another good tip for inventory management is to make sure that you're offloading a lot of your stuff onto your companions and making sure to put it into your cargo hold on your ship. I find this especially useful for crafting items. I try not to keep any crafting items on my character because they can very quickly weigh you down. Usually I just have the armor that I'm wearing, a few weapons, and a couple other select items. Now pretty early on you're going to want to start using the fast travel in Starfield. This is very convenient. You can fast travel both by using the map system, and as long as you've already visited a location, you can use your scanner to fast travel there as well. Another pretty useful feature is if you're on a mission, when you're on this screen here, you can actually hit X on controller and it will plot a course directly to the mission so that you can fast travel there much quicker. Now let's briefly talk about the skills. I'm not going to go in depth when it comes to the skills, but I will give you some very good early game options. Number one, weightlifting. This will give you a bunch more carry weight, which you will find very useful. Persuasion is another decent skill to take. It's not a must-have, but you will find yourself in a lot of conversations where this skill will be very useful. A lot of skills in the combat tree are very good. I especially like ballistics because it covers quite a few different weapons, but if you find yourself using shotguns a lot or rifles a lot, those are great ones to pick as well. The combat skills will give you a lot of extra damage. Now finally, in the tech tree, I highly recommend getting the boost pack training, at least the first tier in it, because you will find it very useful using your boost all throughout the game. Also, security for lockpicking is very useful and will let you get a bunch more loot. And finally, payloads is a good one to increase your ship's cargo capacity. I find you can never have too much inventory space, both on your character and on your ship. Now let's talk about missions. I will try to keep the spoilers to a minimum here. A lot of things will open up to you as you're playing through the main story. And before you go off exploring the galaxy, I would recommend that you mostly stick to the main story, at least till you get to the point where you reach the Cheyenne system. If you follow the main story, you will get to this system pretty early on in the game. You'll be sent to this system shortly after you meet the character Sam. You can get to this point in the game fairly early on, and in this system at Aquila City, you're going to meet a very important faction, and that is the Rangers. I highly recommend that you do the Rangers questline early on in the game because it's going to give you some very good weapons. The Deadeye pistol that you get is extremely good early on in the game, and the missions will also be rewarding you with an amazing ship as well. This ship has amazing combat capabilities and 2,500 cargo capacity. It is vastly better than your starting ship. Now another faction that I enjoyed even more than the Rangers was the UC Vanguard. Early on during the main story missions, you'll be given the chance to join the Vanguard. You'll actually be able to join the Vanguard well before you're able to join the Rangers. Now you can go ahead and join the Vanguard as soon as you're given the opportunity, but I do recommend that you keep going with the main story and complete the Ranger storyline before you do the Vanguard storyline. Of course, this is just my recommendation. You can go ahead and do it whichever way you want. It's just the sooner that you do the Rangers missions, the sooner you'll be able to get that amazing ship, which will help you in so many ways throughout your entire playthrough. And it will also help you a lot during the UC missions as well. As I said, I don't want to spoil too much in this guide, but as for the Ranger faction and the UC faction, I highly recommend doing those missions. And as long as you're playing through the main story, they're very hard to miss. Next up, let's talk about upgrading and modifying your ship. In every major city, you'll be able to find a ship service tech, and they're usually very close to where you land your ship. Just talk to them and they will give you the option to modify your ship. In the upgrade menu, you can upgrade each individual component that's already on your ship. So for instance, the weapons, shields, engines, all can be upgraded to a better version. And then if you want to modify your ship and add new components, there's a separate menu where you can do that as well. So you can add in a bunch of new components like weapons, engines, and you can even reconfigure where the components are. You can move around your cockpit, even completely modify the entire look of the ship. Now let's talk about building your own outposts. Base building is very good in Starfield. I've been having quite a bit of fun with it. You can have a lot of different bases on a bunch of different planets. You can use them to harvest materials, and you can even station crew members at your outpost. I have really enjoyed this system so far, and I feel like I've only barely scratched the surface. So what you need to do is you just need to land on a planet, then bring up your scanner, and then hit X. If you're using a controller, I'm not sure what it is on keyboard, but by hitting the X button, you'll bring up the build menu. First of all, you're just going to need to put down a beacon, and then you can build a whole bunch of other buildings. You can place down harvesters, depending on what resources are on the planet. You need to put down solar arrays or generators in order to power your outpost. You can put down storage containers and then connect your harvesters to your storage containers. You can build a landing pad for your ship. You can build shelters, which you can then place furniture in, workstations, and even a crew station so that you can station crew at your outpost, and you can do even more. There's so many really cool things that you can build. I haven't experienced it yet, but supposedly your outpost can get attacked, so you can actually put defenses at your outpost. It's a really cool feature, and I can't wait to dive even further into it. Now, as I said earlier, you can actually station crew at your outpost, and you can also assign crew to your ship. This is fairly easy. You just bring up the menu, and then down in the bottom left hand corner you can view your ship, and in there you can press Y to view your companions. Then you can select each individual companion and assign them either to your outpost or your ship. Now you'll notice that your companions actually have skills attached to them as well, and they will give you bonuses depending on if you assign them to your outpost or your ship. So for instance, if they have a good piloting skill, you can assign them to your ship and they will give you the piloting bonus while you're flying your ship. This goes the same for outposts as well. If they have outpost management or outpost engineering, they're great crew members to add to your outpost. But that's it for this one, everyone. I hope you got some useful information out of this video. Thank you all for watching, and as always, stay where you're at and I'll come where you're to. Later, everyone.